All right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here we are with Billy and Sienna. Today we're going to be talking about the top 3 rooms to renovate in your own home. Let's get started.
Top 3 rooms in the household to renovate, how to add some value to the house. It's a pretty big topic.
Without over-capitalizing your own home.
That's it.
Let's jump straight into it, shall we?
If you want. How are we, first of all, though?
Oh, well, big day, big Monday.
It's been a busy day, hasn't it?
Yes, it sure has. Good weather, though.
Good weather. So when I came up with 1 or 2 of these, and then you obviously had, I think we're going to do maybe more than 3.
Yeah.
But you were like, can we start off with the weird one? Because I said laundry.
Well, should we start off with the pros and cons of renovating your own home, and then we'll jump into the top 3?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so I would start off. The pros of obviously renovating your own home, it increases your value of your home. But the mistake that everybody makes is if you spend, let's say, 50 grand on your own kitchen, but you can only get it on the market for $20,000. You're overcapitalizing your home, therefore you're not going to make your money back.
Yep.
And then you have a problem. However,
we're still on pros.
Yeah.
I think a big one when you're looking at renos, and especially there's 2 types of renos. Obviously, for investment properties, you're looking at things that will, add value for a rental return perspective. But then some people will be renovating for a home to live in. Going against your stock standard colors, I guess, can sometimes hurt you in the long run. Because if you leave it nice and generic, it kind of applies to everyone.
Yeah, and it can bring prospective buyers to come in and be like, okay, I like the color. Instead of painting the wall green,
yeah,
you can paint it a neutral color. Therefore, the prospective buyers don't think it's something that they need to fix if they do buy the home.
Yep.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
I love seeing kitchens that are, I guess, they look like maybe a bit boring, like this stock standard white, nice clean countertop. I think that appeals to a lot of people. And then, that leaves plenty of space to, add your own touch if you want to respray the doors different color or something like that.
And also adding on that, personalization to renovating your home is a big factor, and it also can be great for your family. However, you always do need to consider that if you are going to sell your home eventually, to make sure that it is in a range of natural colors, I would say,
yep,
or attractive. I mean, if you love taking long showers and installing a cost-efficient, rainwater shower would be great, because people would find that very environmentally friendly, don't you think?
Do love a warm shower. Any other benefits you've got or any negatives for renovating your home? I
mean, the one negative I can think of is definitely not getting your money back. If you overcapitalize your home, essentially you can lose money. Make it specific. You can make it specific to your own lifestyle and to your choice. But as I said, you want to attract buyers in the long run.
Yep.
And if you do paint your wall green, not a lot of people will be very interested in that room in particular.
I think from a sales perspective as well, guys, you've got to be a little bit careful looking at how long, these works are going to take. Sometimes trying to do too much, in a market where it's a little bit soft, you might necessarily do the work that you think is going to add value. But say if it takes a couple of months, we've seen prices come off. So, talk with your agent and get an idea of, what how long these works are going to take. And then before you go ahead with them, just see if that's, going to affect your end goal. And I guess that's the sale price for a lot of people, that we're looking after on the, the sales side of things.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So should we move into the top 3 rooms to renovate in your home?
Go on, you start.
Well, Billy did mention before we hopped onto this live that he said laundry. Now, I kind of am really interested into knowing what's so special about the laundry and how will that attract buyers and why is it so important, Billy?
Okay, so first of all, For properties that don't have a laundry inside, so they're using a common laundry, a really inexpensive way of putting a laundry into your property is trying to add into the kitchen plumbing, having your washing machine put in. Now that's quite simple to do. Talk with a plumber. Obviously, don't go off my word tonight, but from my experience, the plumbing used for a washing machine is very similar to a dishwasher. So you can kind of base it off that. If you've got the space, the cabinetry space, you can slot it in under the bench top quite often. That's a big one, because having an internal laundry versus no internal laundry is huge.
And I definitely think you mentioning the additional storage space can really add value to the home, especially if you have a family. Having additional storage space, especially in the laundry room, or when I was going to go on, the bathroom, is really important. My preference, I would definitely renovate the bathroom. Air ventilation, mold, additional storage space, as I said. Anything to add on it, Billy?
No, I think that's, and then another one going on the kind of laundry style is some of these older properties, we see a huge laundry room for it. And although that's great, you don't need the space these days for that reason. So I think you can, if you're smart, as I said, sometimes they come off the kitchen. You can knock that wall through and extend your kitchen, because that's what everyone is looking for these days. Or you can convert it into, laundry slash storage.
Definitely.
So get a bit of clever with it.
Yeah, great. I was also thinking, obviously if a family moves into a home, I think it's also great to have an entertainment space where the kids can play and, the adults can have their fun. And employee Nathan actually mentioned a man cave, which I thought was a great idea. Obviously, being a father, you want to go downstairs and watch the footy with the boys.
Get away.
Away from the wife and the kids. But definitely an entertainment space would be great, an additional to a home. It will also add a lot of value to the home as well.
Yeah, now that could look like a few different unused spaces in the home. Basements are always a good one. Sometimes they're just left for storage and everything just gets piled in the basement. But if you clear it out, that could be turned into quite a usable space. Attic is another one. We were selling a property in Seaforth that had the most unbelievable attic. It was almost like it was good enough to put someone up there as another bedroom. And then I think maybe even a garage or something out the back of the home that sometimes doesn't get used, like a bit of a shed or something like that. Yeah,
cool. And also, in regards to the entertainment space, I think having an outside entertaining space is also a great idea. Having a barbecue, putting in a pool or something that can make it a little bit more interesting and appealing to buyers when they do walk into the property. Yeah.
No, this one's not really a room, but I said landscaping is a really, really good way to, and it's quite inexpensive, in the realm of renovations, but it's a really good way to make your home a lot more appealing from the outside.
Definitely.
We're selling a property in Narrabeen at the moment, bringing it to market, and they've just done a nice new lick of paint from the outside, doing the cute picket fence with a few, little flowers and things like that. And I think that kind of, has a nice street presence before you even get into the home.
Yeah, and it does grab a lot of people's attention as well. If you do walk into a property, the first thing you do look at is the exterior of the home. The exterior of the home is not very appealing. Not a lot of people are going to want to walk into the home itself because they think essentially that inside isn't as good as outside, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Lisa's kind of led us into our next one here. Like a creative space or I guess
study nook.
They call it a study these days. It's everyone wants a study.
Definitely, especially since COVID's hit. A few years ago, everyone's kind of looking of staying at home, working from home, and definitely, as Lisa said, it's really important.
Yeah. Now, space is one of those things in an apartment you can't make more of, but you can use a better version of the space that you've got. So, as I said, an example: integrate laundries into cabinetry, storage space underneath. Another good one is if you've got a corner of the room, you can kind of get these, fixtures to the wall that can be like a cabinet from one side, and then you flip it around and it's either a like a desk or a pull-out desk or a pull-out bed or things like that is a good one.
I think we covered it all, haven't we, Billy?
Thereabouts. Anything other? You wrote a lot of notes for today.
I know, I did.
Any other notes?
Should we show them?
Any notes we haven't touched on?
A lot of notes. I think I just wrote paragraphs and hope for the best.
I felt nervous coming in with so many notes next to me. But yeah, any others?
I mean, let's talk about the kitchen. Why not?
Talk about the kitchen.
You know, walking into the kitchen, you really want a lot of storage space as well. Talking about storage space, you want plates, cutlery, everything you need.
Yep.
It's also really important for prospective buyers. If you do have a family, mums and dads will want a bigger kitchen and an efficient kitchen as well, with all types. You know, space for the refrigerator and, you know, the oven, and just making sure everything is appealing.
Yeah, and I think the beauty about renovating a kitchen is it can be really, you can do little work but get a lot out of it. So an example of that would be, rather than gutting the whole kitchen and pulling everything out, you can literally just take off the doors, either spray the doors and reuse them or get new ones that literally screw back in. You know, a simple like color changing it from a pretty dated colors, like, let's face it, a lot of the 70s and 80s kitchen, they're a little bit dated. So just putting a new color in can add a bit of a vibe. A new countertop,
or even new lighting as well.
Lighting fixtures, yeah, that's a really good one.
Alrighty.
And then here's my finishing message for like the landlords out of this. I think you can be really, really smart and try and add value to the property whilst you've got tenants in there.
Yeah.
We seem to see the mistake of people only doing renovations and only putting, you know, money or work back into the property once the tenant moves out. And here's the problem with that. Once the tenant moves out, you're obviously going to be looking for a new tenant. If you're going to do your renovations in addition to that, let's say 2 weeks for your renos. And when I say renos, it could be just really small bits, but it's still going to take 2 weeks to line up the trades. Then you're going to be spending another 2 weeks to find the tenant. Whereas if you're just trying to add value whilst the tenant's in there, obviously they're going to really appreciate it. And you're also going to save yourself a lot of time and money by not having the property vacant at the end.
Definitely. And also, it could also increase your rent by the end of their lease as well. So it could also be a benefit on your side as well.
That's it.
Yeah.
So talk to some proactive property managers, because if you've kind of left your property for a good 2, 3, 4, 5 years, not much work's been done, I'm sure the tenants would appreciate, maybe some new appliances, or, as you said, trying to smarten up the space that you're working with, and go from there.
Awesome.
Is that the show?
Yes, that is. Well, thank you guys for watching and joining us today. Thank you, Billy, for joining me.
Pleasure as always.
Always great doing Novak News with Billy. He's been a bit of a gun lately. You did morning minutes this morning, didn't you?
It's been a long day. I'm back in tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode is going to be very, very fun. We're going to an over 55s gym, and we're going to be doing some exercise live on stream. So stay tuned for that. 7:45 in the morning. We're going to be joining a local gym. That's
awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a nice night.
See you guys. Bye.